Thor learned his lesson from his own mistake against Thanos. This time, he threw Stormbreaker straight at the enemy's head. And Dr. Doom simply stopped the axe with just one hand, effortlessly, without hesitation. The trailer for Avengers Doomsday dropped, and Thor, the guy who has gone toe-to-toe with the Mad Titan, looks at the camera and says that this time, they need a miracle. And the trailer does not disappoint at all. Tickets are already on sale, it is accompanied by a giant panel at Comic-Con this weekend, and after months of fragmented teasers, we finally have the full picture. Let's break down every scene.
The trailer opens with the voice of Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr., in Latveria with that heavy Eastern European accent, warning that something is coming that no one is capable of stopping. We cut to a rapid sequence of characters, the Avengers gathering alongside the Fantastic Four, and Thor confessing that he has never faced an enemy as powerful as Doom. Everyone heads to a meeting with Namor, in a scene that seems to directly complement that teaser Marvel had previously released, which makes total sense, since it involves Wakanda, Talokan, and the Fantastic Four meeting in the same underwater space split right down the middle. A quick detail before moving on. Dr. Doom's suit received a subtle adjustment on the belt compared to what had already been shown in concept art and at the China event.
Small, but I noticed it. Now I just want to see what his screen presence will be like, and especially hear more of those accented monologues. And about that water parting, the real explanation is much more interesting than it seems. It is not Namor controlling the ocean, it is Sue Storm, the invisible woman, holding back the walls of water with her own force field. The exact same ability she just used to hold back Galactus at the end of the Fantastic Four movie. It makes much more sense this way. In the comics, Namor rarely controls water directly. He usually relies on artifacts like Poseidon's trident or borrowed powers from other characters. Here, the one holding back the sea is Sue, and she is getting terrifyingly strong. The most electric scene in the trailer is the X-Men mansion under attack, with Cyclops leading the defense and Professor Xavier witnessing the beginning of an incursion through the window. In the midst of the chaos, Mystique transforms into Yelena, resulting in a scene of Yelena literally fighting herself, while Shang-Chi faces off against Gambit in midair. I need to make this very clear. This war between the X-Men and the Avengers has nothing to do with the Mutant Civil War saga from the comics. It is impossible to adapt that arc here. There is no Hope Summers, the Mutant Messiah, in this universe. The X-Men have never been in the same cinematic universe as the Avengers. The Phoenix is not involved. And that event where the Scarlet Witch eliminates the mutant gene from the majority of the population never happened. What they are adapting here is something else, the Incursions arc, created by Jonathan Hickman in the comics. In the Incursions, Dr. Doom had been killing the anchors of each universe, causing entire realities to begin colliding. If the two Earths collide, both universes are destroyed. But if you destroy the rival Earth before that happens, only it disappears, and yours survives, at least until the next collision. My bet? The X-Men from this Fox universe must have already survived several incursions, destroying other Earths along the way.
This makes them extremely experienced in a war of survival, while the Avengers and the Fantastic Four are just starting to deal with this. Regarding the specific matchups, Shang-Chi against Gambit is worth the ticket alone. Both are elite fighters, agile, with great mastery of hand-to-hand combat, and Gambit even adds kinetic energy to his strikes. What could tip the scales are Shang-Chi's 10 rings, but my bet is that the movie will leave him without this resource in this specific scene, just to keep the fight more balanced between the two. On the other hand, Mystique against Yelena is another level of confrontation. Mystique is extremely agile and unpredictable in hand-to-hand combat due to her malleable body, but you cannot underestimate the Black Widow program. In the comics, there is even a serum that all the agents take, which is enough to go head-to-head with powerful people. Still, the advantage tends to go to Mystique, simply because she can literally turn into Yelena herself in the middle of the fight and create a whole tactical confusion that the original Yelena cannot replicate. If you want to understand where this incursion storyline comes from before the movie arrives in December, the mandatory reading is Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman. It is literally the source material for everything we are speculating about here.
The complete edition is available on our Amazon storefront, with the link pinned in the description and in the pinned comment. And any purchase made there helps the channel. It doesn't have to be just this item. Do you like collectibles? Scroll down to our YouTube shopping storefront, where we've selected exclusive items from the Avengers universe with special pricing for those who follow the channel.
The Doom problem. Returning to the main confrontation, Thor learned from his own mistake against Thanos in Infinity War. This time, he aims Stormbreaker straight at the enemy's head. No talking, no chance for error. But Dr. Doom intercepts the axe with just one hand, with zero effort. Faced with this, Thor admits that it is not possible to defeat this enemy without a miracle. And here I need to be honest, this left me surprised. Dr. Doom, in his base form, without stealing anyone's power, usually goes toe-to-toe with Iron Man. There have been confrontations where Tony himself won. Thor, on the other hand, has historically humiliated Doom, effortlessly shattering Victor's high-tech armor and mystical shields in a direct fight. A hardcore Thor is just too hardcore. So how is he already at this level right from the start in the movie? The MCU's power scaling is already notoriously inconsistent. We have seen Hulk get beaten by Thanos, while Captain Marvel beat that same Thanos in an arm wrestle, and that simply does not match what the comics show about those two. But what weighs the most here is another comparison. In Avengers Endgame, Thanos, without the Infinity Stones, still defeated Thor with Stormbreaker, Iron Man, and Captain America with Mjolnir all at the same time, and even broke the vibranium shield in the process. So how is Dr. Doom, who usually ties with Iron Man, being treated as more terrifying than Thanos with all the stones gathered together? There is only one explanation that makes sense. Dr. Doom has already stolen power from somewhere before this movie begins. And I think I know exactly from where. This movie is setting the stage for Avengers Secret Wars, the arc where Dr. Doom steals the power of the Beyonders, the gods who created the magical multiverse. In the original Secret Wars from '84, Victor Von Doom steals Galactus's powers using his own ship, and then uses that to steal the Beyonders' power and become omnipotent. Remember how the Fantastic Four movie ends? Galactus is teleported to the edges of the universe, without his own ship, which is left orbiting Earth 828, the same universe as Dr. Doom and the Fantastic Four. In other words, Victor only had to visit this empty ship, collect whatever he wanted, and absorb the cosmic power stored there. If this is real, Thor is not exaggerating. He really is facing a Dr. Doom with powers borrowed from Galactus. And it is exactly at this point of despair that the miracle arrives. Steve Rogers reappears, long hair, with a beard, and meets Thor face to face. To confirm it is really him, Thor extends Mjolnir toward him, and Steve is able to wield the hammer without any problem, proving his identity and turning the tide right when the heroes needed it most.
The trailer closes with Dr. Doom leaving a final grim sentence hanging in the air about one day still asking for forgiveness for all of this, which suggests his plan goes much further than any scene here is shown. Now, an important addition that is left out of most analyses. Why are the incursions starting right now? It is worth remembering the end of Loki Season 2. He Who Remains kept only one timeline alive to prevent a war between Kang variants, but Loki found another way. He merged his magic with the temporal loom and began to single-handedly sustain Yggdrasil, the tree that keeps all timelines existing at the same time. On his card that appears in the trailer, you can see that exact tree drawn behind him. The problem is that in this trailer, Loki appears off his throne beyond time, and he shouldn't be able to leave there since he gave up his own existence to hold the entire multiverse together. Either he is projecting some sort of magical clone through the timelines, or someone forcibly removed him from there. And someone here is a very strong suspect. Dr. Doom himself might be responsible for removing Loki from the throne, which would explain exactly why the incursions are restarting now.
This connects with another concept, this time coming from Deadpool and Wolverine. Each universe has a person who functions as its anchor, and if that person dies, the entire universe collapses. In the comics, this anchor role is directly tied to Molecule Man. My theory?
Dr. Doom might be hunting down and eliminating Molecule Man variants across the entire multiverse on purpose, killing the anchors one by one to trigger the incursions himself. And diving deeper into the Secret Wars theory I already mentioned, in the comics, after Doom steals the Beyonder's power, he doesn't just get stronger, he rewrites the entire multiverse into a single medieval world where he is worshipped as the only god that ever existed. He doesn't just rewrite space, he rewrites all of history, all of time. No one there even remembers that another reality ever existed. If the movies are really building up to this, we are talking about a villain turning god arc like the MCU has never attempted before.
A quick correction on a detail I already mentioned. More than one coverage of the trailer describes Dr. Doom stopping Stormbreaker with 2 fingers, not his whole hand, which makes the scene even more terrifying when you stop to really look at it. And there is a plausible explanation for why he is already so strong without even needing to steal anything yet. Unlike someone who only relies on science, like a Batman type, Dr. Doom merges cutting-edge science with real magic. And on top of that, he is literally the dictator of an entire country funding his research. Science, magic, and a nation's treasury, all in the same person. It is a very different starting point from most MCU villains. Another point worth highlighting. For a movie with a cast this size, it is impressive how much of the trailer's emotional weight falls on Thor. The pre-battle motivational speeches, the line about a miracle, the fact that he drives almost the entire narrative of the teaser. After Thor's more comedic phase in the Taika Waititi era, this trailer bets heavily on the more serious warrior that the directing duo previously showed in Infinity War and Endgame, and that fans have been asking to see return for years. It is also worth remembering, the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts left the Avengers divided into 2 rival teams, Yelena and Bucky leading a government-backed team under the Countess, and Sam Wilson leading a more classic lineup with Thor, Ant-Man, and Shang-Chi.
The trailer shows Bucky and Sam side by side, suggesting that this feud will be resolved in the movie. My bet for the plot structure? Internal fights first. These 2 Avengers teams, Wakanda versus Talokan, X-Men versus Avengers and Fantastic Four, before everyone unites against Dr. Doom in the final stretch. 2 minor details that also deserve praise. Cyclops finally got the comic-accurate blue and yellow uniform, without any forced redesign. And there was a very emotional moment with Xavier and Magneto holding hands in the scene. Hoping here that the Russo brothers don't kill either of them.
One final theory. Steve Rogers is found stepping out of the Fantastic Four's rocket in the trailer, and this location might not be random. Some people are betting that instead of living the rest of his life in the past, as we saw at the end of Endgame, Steve has spent all this time living in peace inside the Fantastic Four's universe, that universe stuck in the retro 60s aesthetic. This would explain exactly why he reappears right there. Man, there is so much in this trailer that we could make a whole series of videos just breaking down every detail. The return of Steve Rogers with Mjolnir, the complete Secret Wars theory, each specific matchup. Leave your rating out of 10 for this trailer down below, and tell me, do you think Dr. Doom really has Galactus' power, or do you think there's another explanation going on? Comment down below. I really want to discuss this with you guys. If this type of deep analysis helps you understand the MCU properly, leave a like. It helps the channel reach more people immensely. And take the opportunity now to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because there is much more content about this trailer coming this week. See you next time.